Hey guys, this is the tail assembly video for the Flight Test Master Series F18 Super Hornet. They weren't super clear in the video about how to build the actual assembly itself, so that's what this video is for. You can add it on to the end of their playlist if you would like this, or if you just want to figure it out on your own, you don't have to. But it is very easy to build these. I highly recommend you watch this video because they don't mention it in that video. I didn't see it. They might have done it, but I watched it like 3 times. I didn't see a rudder assembly. So this is that video. So you're going to see we have a control surface here, one panel that folds around, and then a skewer. So without further ado, let's get into the build. Alright guys, this is the rudder assembly. So that's that piece. There. So what you're going to need for this is you're going to need a piece that looks just like this. It's going to look kind of like a fish. What you got is a peel paper piece on each side. So you're going to peel off this side and this side, and then you're going to see bevel marks here and here. That means you're going to do a double bevel, and if it's on both sides, you do double bevel. Whichever side the marking is on is the side you do the bevel, so you're doing here and here, right along those lines. The next piece we're going to need is this piece right here. This piece is the rudder piece. This has not a bevel mark, a score mark right there and there. And you're going to put a ruler across that and score that right between those 2 points. And lastly, you're going to need a skewer. This is going to be what sticks at the bottom and sticks into your fuselage to hold the rudder in better. Once you got hot glue and an X-Acto knife, we're ready to build. Alright, here we go. So once you got this first piece good and ready and cut out, you're going to want to peel the paper off. Once you have that done, we're going to want to bevel right on the center, pieces on both sides, so we're going to do a double bevel. Hold your blade at a 45-degree angle, just like this. And if you're good at it, you can freehand it, just like this. Keeping your finger nice and steady along it at a 45-degree angle. Or, if you're a little bit more inexperienced, what you can do here, you just sit across the table here, let your pinky sit on the bottom of the table, very steadily pull it across, just like this. There. Now they have a double bevel made. We're going to test fold it here, and you're going to bend it around, kind of press it down all the way along the seams. Be careful not to crease it. We're just molding it so that way it can fully fold over like this. Because this piece is going to fold over fully, just like this. We're going to just push along it here, creasing it a little bit here in the middle. Right here along the seam, you want to crease it just a little bit. Don't make it noticeable. Just mold it around there nicely, put pressure evenly across the front seam. And there you go. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to fold it here, and make sure, test fit these seams and make sure these seams line up good. All the way around, it looks pretty good. Now, we're going to set this piece aside and go to our next piece. The next piece you'll need is this piece, that's the rudder piece. And you're going to see these 2 score marks. What you're going to do is you're going to take your ruler here. You're going to put it right between those 2 score marks like this. And then you're going to take your razor blade and just score it. Don't cut all the way through, just down to the paper. Don't cut through the paper, just the foam. And you're going to crack it open just like that. And remove the smaller piece, just like this. There you go. Just remove that piece, set that aside, or throw that away. I'd like to keep it at the scrap piece of foam. Right there. Now that we have this paper flap, what we're going to do here, we're going to cut a bevel right along this open seam here. This open edge here, we're going to cut a bevel along that. So fold your paper back so you don't actually cut it. Hold your knife again at a 45-degree angle. Just let it kind of glide through. This knife is a little bit more dull, but it will still work. There, now that we have our 45-degree bevel angle cut, we're going to bring it over here. And this piece is a geometric shape, so it's going to fit perfectly lining up with something. So that's going to fit in there just like that. Paper. So what we're going to do, we're going to glue this here and stick it just like this. But before you do that, if you're painting your airplane, I highly recommend that you scuff this before you put it on. Otherwise, you might delaminate your paper. I recommend using 800 grit because that's the best stuff. That's what I use. We're just going to lightly scuff it, not too much, but scuff it enough for painting, so that way the paint can adhere. There you go. The rest of the rudder you can do afterwards. It's just easiest to do this part before you put it on. Alright, now that I have that piece scuffed, what we're going to do is take a wet, damp rag, wipe it across. So what you're going to do here is you can take a piece of paper towel or a brush, something, get a little bit of water on it, just a little bit, like that. Make sure it's not too much, just make sure it's damp, not soaking. Squeeze that out, bring that out there. What we'll do, we're going to open this up here and just wipe all that dust off there that's on there. Just like this, just wipe it all off, just like that. Wipe the dust, and then once the water fully dries, you should see those scuff marks reappear. Now, I'm going to let that piece dry fully from the water, and then we can continue. Now while this piece is drying from your water, what you're going to want to do is grab your barbecue skewer here, get your ruler just like this, sit it here, and the end with the tip here, the pointy end, goes at this end of the ruler, the 0. You want to mark about just an inch on that. From the tip back, you want to mark about an inch. There. I have now marked an inch on my stuff there, just like that, just an inch. And you want to be able to see that reference mark when we put it on the rudder. That'll be the last step. Now this piece should be pretty dry from the water. We didn't put that much on it. And what we're going to do here is see how this doesn't fit like this? It can't fit like that. So what you're going to do is match it to the side that it fits perfectly. And what we're going to do is we're going to slide it up till there's just a little tiny sliver that's open at the top. Nothing too much, just make sure it's not going to bind. You want it to look just like that. Small little sliver at the top, and just like that at the bottom. Then once we have that, what we're going to do here, we're going to take the paper here, put some glue all along that paper, leaving a little gap at the front. See? Put it all along, but right here next to that edge, leave a little gap there. Stick it down nicely like this. Be careful, the glue is hot. I'm getting kind of used to it because I've been doing it before. But if your first time Master Series build and this is your first build of a Master Series, then please, by all means, be careful and use a piece of scrap foam. You don't want you to burn your fingers. Alright, now this should be glued. Make sure that can move like freely, just like that. Make sure that can move. And this is where that little front piece comes in handy. So what you're going to do is you're going to see this here. You're going to pull that back, the piece of paper back. So you fold it down, and if you push it, it should close that seam. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull it back, put some glue right in that bead. Right in that little area. Have a scrap piece of foam nearby because you're going to need it. So pull it open. Put some scrap put a bead of glue down there. Have a scrap piece of foam ready. Like this. And then once we're done doing that, we're going to squeeze that down. Take our scrap piece of foam here. That's what you need. We're going to do this. This is also going to double as a glue hinge, as well as keeping that front edge down. What I like to do after I wipe off most of the glue is take my hand, run it down a few times to get any unnecessary glue off, just like this. Make sure that front thing is fully dry before moving on. Once it's dry, you should be able to flex back and forth just like this. And now we're going to lay it face up with the white peeled off side facing upwards. We're going to make sure this fits here perfectly down the seam just like that, and we have enough of our bevel cut out in the middle. Keep the, mind you, that reference mark down there, the black reference mark, you're going to have right at the tip at the bottom there. Right lining up just like that. The next step what we're going to do here, we're going to do this. We're going to put glue, nice bead, right down that seam right there. And on the side without the rudder, what we're going to do here, put glue around the outline of it, just like this. Don't put too much near the edge. Keep it a little bit back from the edge, like a millimeter, just to keep that glue from squirting out. Now we're going to fill it in the middle here, like this. Then what we're going to do here, we're going to take this, stick it just down like that. Make sure that reference mark lines up. Push it all in there. And fold over our rudder. Make sure you don't take too long on this process, or else your glue might dry before you can get it folded over. We're going to push down firmly, front and back, everywhere. Moving our hands back and forth to make sure this is fully glued down. We do not want any of this to come out. If it does, you can squeeze a little glue in that area, but you definitely don't want it coming up if you want your plane to look perfect. If you're a perfectionist, then yeah, you don't want it coming up. Just keep moving your hands back and forth, making sure that's fully glued down. Make sure you're no glue in this hinge down here, this little area along this edge here. Make sure there's no glue in that. And make sure your rudder moves freely. Now you see here, right here, this is where it's popping up. You want to just put some glue in there. Put your tip down in there just a little bit. Put some glue, like that. Put it back on the table, press down, and wipe your glue. Wipe the glue again. Just like so. Now keep that held tight together and don't let it pop up again. Make sure your glue gloves are all wiped to the side of the table or in the trash so they don't dent or anything. Let that glue dry for about a minute. Alrighty, now that glue is dry, there you have your rudder. Now you are free to paint or apply decals from the Flite Test store whenever you want. Now after you're done here, if you're painting, make sure to remember to scuff this, but you don't need to scuff this because it's already been scuffed. And if you were to scuff this now, it's sticking up and it might delaminate your paper. That's why we did it before putting it on. But now, you have your rudders, you're ready to finish the rest of the build, and you can go back to John Overstreet's video, and he'll show you the rest on how to put these things on the plane and how to paint the plane. Thanks for watching. Till next time.